Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning, LaLa. And on Thought Thursday, we are talking to guests that have really made an impact in our lives through their thinking. So Harry Lowell is in the house. He is the founder of Nightlight Pictures. You've seen him. He's done some spots for Super Bowl. You've done all kinds of things. You've hit us hard with some major programming in our lives. Why have you done this to us? No, just kidding.
Oh, that's very funny. Well, I appreciate that I've hit you somehow. That's great. That's the goal. Coming from Chicago, you know, you don't know what that's going to be, but I knew early on I wanted to be a part of something that was going to tell stories and move people, right? Either laughter or inspire or terrify, whatever the motion needs to be. And I think that's what's great about coming out here to Los Angeles and having a chance to work on Super Bowl and documentaries and feature films and series. I think you get a chance to communicate with different audiences. I think nowadays, like your show couldn't exist a few years ago.
Right.
And now the audiences are so scattered, but they're so specific that they can find that programming they like, and it's really exciting right now for me because we're finding new ways to communicate with people from different kinds of stories.
Totally.
But people have used comedy, like you mentioned Funny or Die, for thousands of years. What is it about Funny or Die and the comedic spots that you love producing so much?
Yeah, comedy always draws me. I think that was a great, for me growing up, Chicago was gray and dark sometimes, and so it was a chance to escape that world, and so I always loved it. And they also had a lot of improv, so Second City, I grew up with that and taking those kind of classes. So what I love about Saturday Night Live, Funny or Die, is they come from that same ilk, which is let's start with an idea, let's not make it fully formed, let's see what the improv, let's see what all the collaboration creates. So you start with something that's kind of a fuzzy blob, but you know it's going to get better and better as everyone adds their input. And so I think that's why it resonates so strongly, is the work you do is constantly changing and evolving to be very contemporary, very in the moment.
Right.
That's my favorite kind of comedy.
Love that.
On, Thought Thursday, we talk a lot about the power of thoughts and the power of, was your upbringing, were your parents innovative? Were they entrepreneur? How did you get like this?
How much swearing can you do? My dad is hilarious, and he is not funny outwardly. He just makes you laugh all the time because his nature, like his mom, they were just so positive. They just really embrace life. So they find the humor in everything, no matter how dark or dire the situation. They are just so positive and full of life, and so that just always inspired me and challenged me and kind of pushed me to look at saying, how could we bring that to other people who maybe don't have that same upbringing, that same opportunity? And so I find myself surrounded with people that have the same kind of vision on life. Even when we're struggling, I have a partner now from Mexico City, and no matter how hard things get, we find time to laugh and joke, and it makes things so much smoother and easier, because especially in production, nothing is a straight line. Everything is, you have to get off road sometimes and take the exit ramp, but you're going to get there eventually. I feel like we're the production GPS people because we know where we're trying to get to, and it's never going to be that line. So I think comedy and humor, and it helps attract who you're working with. I think it touches the audience in a way. So I think that's just a great universal way to communicate.
And finding and capturing the art in that hot mess.
I love hot mess.
Me too. It's so beautiful. I also love Mexico City. I spent some time living there when I was modeling. It's incredibly beautiful.
We are the same person, I think.
We might,
right?
we might be.
At heart, yeah.
But rumor has it you're producing an international travel series out of Mexico.
Yeah. We just came back and did the pilot piece there, which is great. And I'm finding weird connections when you think about it. So when you're on the plane, you have a lot of time to yourself. You start going, I didn't realize that subconsciously these things are happening. So we did an immigration film, and then we have this travel food series. And I'm realizing that what I'm really liking about it is that it seems to make the world smaller. It brings us together, and finding we're seeing the similarities in cultures and people as opposed to all of our differences and the things that separate us. So I'm finding little themes that we didn't plan for, but I'm seeing why I'm attracted to certain projects later. I go, oh, that's why that rose to the top. That's why I wanted to make that series. Also, I like to travel.
Works.
What
I want some air miles.
What brought you to the immigration documentary?
You know what? The creators of that brought it to me, and they said, Harry, we've got an idea. And this was Dino, Harvey, Matt, and Arthur. They said, we think that there's kind of an ugly political discourse right now about immigration, especially about Hispanic immigration, a lot of misinformation. And so rather than add fuel to the fire or pick a side, why don't we just tell some stories, some really simple, quiet stories? And I was like, wow, this is a brilliant idea. So we found all the right filmmakers. We found the right people to really kind of have a disparate view of, just what makes up people who are American, who are becoming Americans in a Hispanic kind of way. And my partner is Hispanic, so from a business perspective at Nightlight, and so it was great for us to use our skill sets together, and for me to learn even more about the culture and how different an Argentinian is from a Mexican, from someone from Spain. So I think that was just, for me, really great to put out there, and it's really caught on. Comcast distributed it, and the studio executive, we said, this is a really quiet film. There's no smoking gun. There's no pointing fingers. So it's not like you're gonna have a big trailer to promote this film. And he said, no, let's do it. We believe in this. And that was Jose Silva championed this and said, no, we have to make this. Let's go make this little film. And we thought it would do its little job, and it's grown. It's exploded on the
So any
festival circuit.
particular like story within one of the Immigrants that's really stuck with you?
There's several, but I think two of them that come to mind right away is one of them was how one of them had come over when he was younger, and he'd realized how often the people that he grew up with out here took for granted the freedoms and the opportunities we have in America.
Right.
And he saw his dad, what he had to leave and leave behind to make a better life for he and his family. So I love that idea that he's always been an American in his mind. He's grown up here, but he really appreciates it because his dad would tell him what we fled from, what we left for, and how many opportunities are here. So I think a lot of times we take for granted what our gifts that we have here. And I think when we realize what it is, we should be able to explore and become people who follow their dreams. And this is a country that doesn't limit you. And I think that's one of the best gifts of all, not just persecution and religious freedom, but just the fact that you can say, I'm going to be from Chicago or Michigan, and I'm going to do an international stage of things, and no one can tell you no here, and they're going to support you.
You can do anything you want here. You
It's
can.
amazing. So those are the stories that really kind of, a lot of tears in the eyes. And then there was a woman who said she came over here, and she has 2 kids, and she did the same thing, left to make a better life for her family. She has 2 doctors and a guy who sends things into space, and that is what, she feels this is what this country gave me, and she's so proud to be an American and to support it and to vote. Those are the things that I think are powerful because it relates to not just Hispanics, but any immigrant that's coming here from any country. I think that's what we stand for, and I love to hear what the best of America can be. Makes me proud.
Love it.
Yeah.
So
So,
cool.
as a creative person, being successful in the entertainment business can be a struggle for lots of people. What's been the greatest challenge for you, and how did you overcome it?
A lot of it's in my own head. I think that's the problem is, I think there are there's 2 different kind of Hollywoods, right, that I see, and I feel that there's a Hollywood that wants to come out and make the films and the stories, and they believe in the project, right? And I'm very OCD about that. This is my world right now. This is what I want to tell, and I want to figure out the best way to make that happen. And then there's a different Hollywood, a smaller one, but it's very vocal, where they want red carpets and they want champagne and they want, limos. And so you can't have both. You have to decide which one you want to be in. And this, to me, is where I live. I love surrounding yourself with the right people to push your career and your craft and your storytelling, and that the accolades are what they are.
We just want limos around here,
I hear you. I'm not
Champagne
saying-
popping limos,
I'm not saying I'm turning down a limo ride, but I think your motivation has to be focused on that. And I think that that was difficult in the beginning, is thinking that everyone had that same strategy, and that's what they were going for, and learning that it wasn't. It was much more egocentric or me focused as opposed to project focused. And so I had some amazing mentors that supported. I love a fun set. I like comedy and pulling the best out of people and collaborating as a group. And so having the right people support that and say, yeah, no, produce like that, Harry. You do what you think it should be. And so when you get the right people, you're making magic. And then the other stuff comes, the money, the accolades. I think you have to manifest
Very true.
who you want to work with, and then the projects become what they should be.
So
As
awesome.
opposed to judging and saying, I need this guy's real, and then when I've done that and I've chosen that guy because of his real, I want those 3 months of my life back. Like, that was awful. And it's unnecessary pain.
Thank you. You epitomize what LaLa Land really is in this community of dreamers and doers. Thank you, Harry. We appreciate
Yep.
you and the work and the stories that you're sharing. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow your journey.
Instagram, good producer. That's pretty much the only place I do anything. And even then, it's up to Ari to bug me on planes and say, post some shit. That's what it is. But
So appreciate
So
it.
awesome.
love
Thank
what you guys
so
do.
much, Harry.
Really.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on Good Morning La La Land.